Okay, going to share my screen. Okay, can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first, what I like to do is I'm ShaCarol Green. I am the former productivity coach. Just stopped a few months ago, gave it to Katie. I have been with Keller Williams for a little over 3 years, and I have and I don't know. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. Is there any? Do y'all have any questions for me?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So today we'll be doing session 13, qualifying potential buyers and sellers. And I have a few notes with me, so I'll be going over those. And like I said, if at any time y'all have any questions, comments, please don't be afraid to ask. Just jump right in. I like interaction. I don't like to feel like I'm just talking. Excuse me, my earbuds fell out. So I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. So please talk back to me, ask me questions. Let's just jump right in. Okay, so today we're gonna be covering on how to qualify potential buyers and sellers. Before I begin, I don't know how many classes y'all have attended of Ignite, but did Katie, and I'm sure she has, have y'all found like any accountability partners or anything in the office or within each other?
I have not.
You haven't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Are you in coaching with Katie, Lorraine?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll get with her because I'm gonna be honest, having an accountability partner is it helps, especially if you find someone that's coming in with you. Because y'all can help push each other and bounce questions off of each other or however. But it's very helpful. So I'll get with Katie, see if she can help you get somebody.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. So the objection that we're going to do today is identify where and how to lead generate for buyers and sellers. I know y'all are probably tired of the word lead generate by now, but it is so important. That's our job. Classify leads by ability and motivation. And qualify buyer and seller in preparation for an appointment. That part is so important, and we'll get to all of that. Yeah. So, like I said, this is all we're gonna do. So let's talk about your number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. So congratulations. The lead generation and follow-up habits you have started are the first steps to fulfilling what Gary Keller says is our number one job. The second half of this quote contains a very important word, motivated. When we follow the 80-20 principle, one of the Keller Williams 6 personal perspectives that we discovered and that y'all talked about in day one, you focus on 20% on our most motivated buyers and sellers. So today we'll cover how to qualify our leads and contacts to uncover how motivated and able they are to transact. So first, do you understand or know why that the word motivated is so important when we're talking about buyers and sellers?
To me, it's the ones that are more willing to work with an agent, that they have that desire to either buy or sell at a faster pace.
Yes, because if they're not motivated, what happens?
Then the process could be just strung out for a longer period of time.
And you wasted your time.
Both are wasting, yeah.
Yeah, you wasted your time if they're not motivated. And some people are motivated, but they may not be ready right now. And we'll get into how do we classify these people. Okay. I did that. Okay. So when we are new to something, it can be easy to get caught up in the misunderstandings that block success. Remember when we talked about limited beliefs? What's that's what pretty much limited beliefs are the same things as misunderstandings. So unlimit your thinking to move forward. I know it is so easy when you first get in because you don't know what's going on when you first get in real estate unless you've been around someone in real estate that you feel like, oh my God, because we see these things, we see all these people, we see all the people posting the closings, we see all them posted the just listings, the just closed, just sold. My new, I have up to 100 buyers, I have 30,000 listings. And you're like, oh God, okay, so this has to be easy. And then you get in and you're like, what's going on? So, so what are some misunderstandings or some limited beliefs that you have about real estate? What is something that you feel like that is stopping you or could possibly stop you from getting to where you want to be now that you've stepped your foot in it?
I think it would just be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot to learn, and um, for the most part, I know that the process is it's not as easy. There is a process involved with it, and I understand that. But I think the biggest thing that would probably stop me is myself, and I think it's just due to the fact that I'm still fresh, still new. So, like, I want to be at a point where I know a whole lot about this, and I know I'm not at that level yet. So I feel like my lack of experience is what's stopping me.
Let me tell you something, Chris. You're not gonna know until you get out there.
That's for sure.
Like, you're not gonna know how to write a contract till you get your first client, right?
Very true.
Just know that you have people in the office. Katie's your coach. Jimmy Ann, you have people there or here that you don't have to write that contract by yourself.
For sure.
So your client doesn't have to know that you're writing it with Katie or someone
Yeah.
else. So don't be afraid because you're not, every transaction is so different. I've written 30, 40, 50, 60 contracts in the last 3 years. They're all different. And sometimes I'm still calling Jimmy and I'm like, hey, did I word this right? Or could I word it this way? Or can I do this? Or can I do that? Because everything is different. And if I haven't done it before, I have that. And I've coached. So I know for me, my biggest when I first got in, I'm not a phone person. I hate talking on the phone. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So when it came to lead generation, that cold calling stuff, I was so against it. I couldn't stand it, y'all. Could not. But it works. It really works. And another thing is people are saying that you have to spend money to lead generate. You don't. You have cold call your friends, call your family, call your sphere, call your people or talk to your people on your social medias. So lead generation doesn't have to cost a whole lot of. I'm not saying don't invest in yourself, but when you're first starting out, you hadn't made the checks yet. So let's start by doing it as cheap or free as possible. Anything else that y'all want to talk about with lead generation real quick? Are you good?
It's been hard sometimes I feel like I am thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do.
And I'm gonna be honest, we always overthink it. when we say have the conversations, let's start out with the first conversation should never be about real estate. Sometimes just calling people to check on them. Like when I started real estate, it was 2020. I signed my KW agreement at like February 28th of 2020. We all know what happened March 13th. So a week and a half later, the world shut down. Well, the best thing that Gary Keller told all the agents at that time was, we're not talking about real estate. No one is buying and selling at that time. So from from that March to like that May, people were not really selling, right? People didn't want nobody else in their house. Things were going crazy. He said, still call your people, stay in touch, contact. Just have the conversations. How are you doing? What can I do for you? And then, because when you have have y'all talked about Ford method yet? The Ford conversation?
Mm-mm.
Well, the Ford conversation is FORD. F is for ask about their family. Talk about their occupations, which is O.
Oh, yeah.
The R, talk about the recreation, like what things they like to do, things that y'all might have in common. And D, what are their dreams? What are things that what are things that they're talking about doing with their families, with themselves? What goals do they have? So when you talk about those things with people, the first thing they're going to do is ask you about your family, your job, which is your occupation. And that's when you say, hey, I'm in real estate now. And there goes the real estate conversation. And then you just let them, before you get off the phone, I always say, hey, if you're not ready yet, but if you know anybody, or if you hear anybody talking about buying or selling, hey, give me their contact information. Let me call them. And why do I say let me call them? Give me their contact information. Why do I say that?
So that you can reach out yourself and add them to your database to nurture.
Exactly. Because if I tell my friends or family to give someone my contact information, it's less likely they're going to call me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I start the conversation, and they may tell me too, hey, we're not ready right now. We're just talking about it. But then I can also put them on a plan. I can put them on a smart plan to keep in contact with them, and they'll be added to my database. So anytime if they see anything that comes from me, an email, a text, a phone, a postcard, a letter, anything that comes from me, that will be top of mind when it comes to real estate. Because I don't know about you, but I have like 50 to 100 other agents on my social media. But I need my friends to know that I'm thinking about them always. So let's go on. So the National Association of Realtors collects data every year on buyers and sellers' experiences with the real estate transaction. This table shows the results from the survey of buyers from 2021. So what do these numbers tell you? If just looking at it, what do these numbers tell you? What can you gather from these numbers?
Trying to see them.
I'll tell you. Have you noticed that more buyers are finding their agents through referral than any other source? Which means that more people you know, then more people that know you're an agent, you have the more potential to help them with the home purchase, and the more likelihood for referral. Now, I don't know. Y'all know Taisha. Have y'all met Taisha?
Yes.
Okay. So when I first got in, Taisha was one of my mentors. And she told me when I first got in, she was 14 years ago. So yeah, she said 14 years ago, ShaCarol, she was like, I met this couple and they thought they were ready. She said, but they never bought. She said they were her first phone call. They talked. But they have in the last, at that point, 14 years, had given her over 10 referrals, but they never bought. They were never, something always happened with life. Life happens that they could never buy. And I think they just bought from her a few years ago.
Oh,
Wow.
So that you think that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like they had intentions, but she kept in contact with them. And apparently they knew a lot of people. Because you have to know a lot of people to be able to refer 10 people that she actually sold homes to. And just think some of those were buyer and seller. So those were some of those are two transactions apiece. So referrals are so important. So important. The survey also confirms that a listing can be leveraged to generate buyer leads. Let's see. Do you see that? Sorry. Listen. So yeah, like see for sale open houses, like because if you have a house for sale and your sign is in the yard, a lot of people they just drive by and look at the house. They don't have an agent. So not only do you have that house for sale, you have that seller. If someone calls you about their house and they don't have an agent, that's a double closing. That's a possible double closing. That's 2 clients for one house. So instead of you getting that 3%, you can get that 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, those closing days are always the best. I love double closing. So what methods of lead generation and follow-up have you all covered in Ignite? That align with the best buyers agents, how to find buyer agents. How to find buyers. What do you think? Have y'all talked about any lead generations that'll help or that you think you would like to work with finding buyers?
I know for me, I think I started on session 10,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been more focused on the seller side.
Okay.
So like for sale by owners. That's what I've been doing these last few weeks.
That is awesome. Let me say this. A listing agent is I love being a listing agent. Just simply because we it's easier. I'm not gonna say easier. Let me say that back. I'm not gonna say easier. It's more convenient.
Mm.
Because think about it, when you're a listing agent, you have one house and 1,600 agents working for you. 1,600, 1,700 plus, right? It's in our
Yeah.
MLS. When you're a buyer's agent, you have one client competing with 1,700 other agents.
That's true.
Possible. So I can be on vacation when it comes to sellers because they're not going to call me unless most of the communication after we get everything listed is, hey, we have requests to see your home. We have requests to see your home. I'm not running around showing 12 different houses to a
Yeah.
client for them to get and writing 6 different offers just for us to get beat out by somebody else. So I love that you're focusing on listings, but don't turn down buyers unless that's strictly what you want to do is listings and no buyers.
I'm open to anything right now,
Okay.
but yeah, I've been focused more on the listing side.
Yes. So, like I said, we talked about the forward conversations. So when you're talking to people, we talk about the forward conversations. Also, if you start doing open houses, and also remember, you can get if you look in MLS and see any of our agents that have a home that you might want to do an open house for, just ask them. And honestly, let's be honest, it doesn't have to be an agent in Keller Williams. If you see a house listed and you're like, hey, I want to do an open house with these people, talk to the agent and say, hey, I'm new. I would love to start doing open houses. Can I do an open house for your home? I've done open houses for other brokers when I first started. I had a friend that she used to work for Stone Martin, and I used to go hold open houses for her. I've got a lot of clients from that. Most of them were buyers, because those are people that are looking for homes. But two of them were buyer seller because they had to sell their home as well.
Mm.
But I got those for open houses, from hosting other people's open houses. Because if they come in the house and you're the agent there, they're your client, right? Unless they have an agent. And I always ask and sign in, do you have an agent? Are you working with an agent? And use social media. Use social media. We can always post other people's listings with their permission. We can post listings and other people's, real estate stuff with their permission. Always get their permission first. Like if you post, like if I had a house for sale, had a house listed, and you've seen one, you can say, "Hey, ShaCarol, can I post it?" I'm never going to tell you no, as long as you put listing agent and courtesy of listing agent ShaCarol Green, or courtesy of listing agent Katie Woodard, whomever. Okay, so now going back to this, NAR shows sellers is quite like the data of buyers. So this is pretty much saying the same thing. They're normally finding their agents from referrals. I haven't gotten to, but I'm getting to the place where I'm getting a lot of referral clients. And that's because I've gone to different conventions. I've talked to different agents all over. And I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups for other agents, especially Keller Williams agents, all agents, that, hey, they're referral groups. And they might say, hey, I have someone moving to Montgomery, Alabama, any agents. And trust me, it's like me and 50 more people saying, hey, I do. And they may or may not use me. Some have, some haven't. Or if you know an agent somewhere in Mobile or Atlanta or DC or wherever, you can refer them. And if you refer them, I guarantee they'll refer you back. Let me see. Like buyers, sellers are finding their agents through referrals. A higher percentage are using an agent that have bought or sold with them before. This is a great reminder that follow-up isn't just for new leads and contacts. We should maintain relationships with our past clients after transactions. Oh my God, this is so important. I always tell my clients, once you start with me, you will hear from me for the rest of your life or the rest of mine. And that is simply because we know that people usually buy every 7 to 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wait 7 years to talk to them. They say, "Oh, they're about to buy. Let me call them." No, because they've met 12 other agents in those years,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know how much they've kept in contact with them. I asked my husband one day because he bought our house before we got together, and this was 18 years ago, 17, 18 years ago. And I said, "When's the last time you talked to your agent?" He said, it was closing. So even if I wasn't selling real estate right now, do you think he would call her to buy another house? He hadn't talked to her in 18 years.
Probably not.
Now, and she's still selling. I see her in the MLS. She has not contacted him since closing. Sad.
No.
So I always put my clients on my past clients on what we call drip campaigns or smart plans. And I just keep it, and then once a quarter, I just text or call and say, hey, just thinking about y'all. Y'all need anything? How's it going? How's the family doing? The best thing that I do, a lot of people do that don't think about, because we're all in technology now, just send a card. Send a good card. I have them sitting, actually, which is funny. I'm sitting at my kitchen table. Look, I just wrote some. I got to mail off. Because just to get a little handwritten note, just say, hey, thinking about you. How you doing?
What do you use? Do you use postcards?
Yeah, I ordered off Amazon, and I just got these nice little hello cards. Got different designs. It says hello. That's it. I got they come like 300 for like $20 something. Whatever design you choose, doesn't have to be a KW card to make it personal. It's just a little blank little card that's nothing in it. I just write in it. Say, hey, thinking about you. How you doing? And every now and then, like if I know they have a birthday or if I know their kids have a birthday, I might drop like a Starbucks card in it, a Walmart card, $10. They don't care. That's just a thought. Like, oh my gosh, you thought about me. And sometimes and then you don't have to put anything in it. Just, hey, just thought about you. Just checking in on you guys. It's as simple as that. So, any questions for that right now?
Nope.
Okay. Now we're talking about command. I've got to find my earbuds. My daughter stole my other ones. It says, okay, so as you've been experiencing, Keller Williams has a defined model and system for everything you need to do in real estate. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's an answer for everything with Keller Williams. So likewise, it also has its own language like leads and contacts, which you already are familiar with or should be familiar with. Opportunities is a word in command that we use to define your sales pipeline of business. It tracks all your potential leads or transactions as they move through the sales pipeline. It's the best practice to put your A, B, and C potential clients into opportunities pipeline in command to track their process. You can see on the screen or when you open command opportunities that it will track your clients from the cultivate stage all the way to the closing and getting paid. Opportunities even project your possible income, total income in your sales pipeline. Now, another big thing, like it does all of that. But do know, and I don't know if y'all have taken passive and paid classes with Susan or whatnot. Opportunity stages, the opportunity tab in command is how you get paid. It shows all the required documents. You have to put in your commission request there. You have to put in everything there. So get very familiar with command, opportunities, contacts, and all of the things. Or you won't get paid. You can close, but you won't. Susan will not cut that check until all your documents in there. Uh-oh. Gotta go to the right one. So any ahas for now? For now, we still have a little more to go. But anything else right now?
No.
Okay. Let's move right along. Move right along. So now we're gonna be talking about how to classify them. I know you probably heard of the ready, willing, and able, or ready, able, and willing, however you want to talk about it. And I think we've already talked about why do we say able or motivated. We talked about that earlier. Because I'm gonna say it again, even though all leads and contacts have potential, they are not all going to close a home next month. That's just like we talked about the Taisha situation. They're just not. Everyone is not ready. They might be willing, they might be able, but they might not. Well, they might be ready and willing, but they might not be able to. And some are able and not willing. Some people like I know another agent. He has a client. They're pre-approved for nearly $700,000, and they just won't. They're just slow poking it around as if the approval is going to last forever. So you're like, and I know, and then when you have a client like that, you're thinking about the possibility of that commission of a $700,000 house, and they're just slow poking it around. So focus becomes increasingly possible in direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want it, and what you must do to get it. This quote doesn't just apply to us as agents, it applies to everyone. When buyers and sellers know what they want, when they want it, and what they need to do to get it, then our role as agent is very clear. Help them find the property they desire and close the transaction. So I always go back to what is their motivation? Why is it that they're trying to move? Because normally people move because of death, divorce, a new baby, marriage, graduating, empty nesting. Find what their motivator is. Always get that when you're having that initial contact with them, because you're going to probably have to remind them of that sometimes. So when we're determining the able, ready, and willingness of a potential client, we emphasize come with curiosity. Why do we stress this? Why do we stress like coming from curiosity? You should come from curiosity.
So it shows them that we're coming from a helping standpoint instead of trying to get a personal gain out of it.
Exactly. And you come to question so that you will be able to get to the root of their motivation. You're doing a lot of questioning so you can get to the root of their motivation. Because they might not just come out and say, oh, my mother-in-law needs to move in, so we need to do this, A, B, C, and D. We need the house to look like this. They might not say that at the beginning. Even though in our heads, we're like, why didn't you just say that in the beginning? But you just have to dig deep with some people. When they're able clients or potential clients that is financially and legally capable of completing a transaction. Now, I'm gonna stop right there. What do we mean by legally able? Other than age, what are some other things that can be legally able? That can legally someone can't do it.
Legally cannot.
Mm-hmm.
If they are underage, if they're under the influence of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there? If they're mentally incompetent.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you some things in the real world that we've come to too as well. If they're married in the state of Alabama, if they are married, always ask their marital status. Because if they are married, they cannot sell their marital home without the other.
Yep.
My husband bought this home before we got married. He cannot sell it without me signing off. That's crazy. The only way he can buy another home and I not sign is if he buys it in a business name. So be very careful. and I'm not doing that to scare you guys, but I've known some agents that have not been able to close because by the time the closing attorney got it and they've done all of their work, and I'm gonna tell you an easy way to just look at the tax records, see whose name is on the deed. Whose name is on the deed. And sometimes it can be as simple as, oh, my husband dad died, never got his name off the deed. That's fine. I just need a death certificate. Or the closing attorney is gonna need a death certificate. Or but if they say we're in the middle of a divorce, you just advise them. I would get a divorce first because they have rights to whatever you purchased during marriage. And if it's a heir property, everyone has to sign. So just be careful of those things. Ready clients or potential clients that are motivated and prepared to make strategic decisions now, which means they want to do it and they know how to, they're trying to get to doing it now. Willing clients or potential clients who are eager to buy, sell, or both. But willing may not be financially ready. And that's okay. Don't just throw them to the side. They're not priority, but don't leave them alone. Help them get ready. Help them get ready and able. And we can help you all with that later. You can get them with a lender. They can go with the credit repair, whatever the case may be. This is starting point for the ABC framework, or you might think of this term as the cultivate phase in your opportunities pipeline. What time is it? Because I tend to talk over y'all. I might. Okay. Oh, it's only 11:12. Okay, I got time. Because I do tend to talk over y'all. So, so in session 11 that y'all talked about, convert possible business into a profitable business. We covered y'all covered how to convert leads to appointments. Then in session 12, nurture relationships. You covered staying in a relationship with contacts who are not ready to transact. Oh, see, I'm getting ahead of myself. I already said that, right? That goes to show I've been through this class multiple times. How do we know whether our potential client is ready to close for an appointment or close for a conditioned relationship? Continued relationship, I'm sorry. How do we know that?
I think it's just based off the type of relationship you try to build. If you know that you could see yourself being in constant communication with this person, then I think they'd be able to be classified as somebody that will be someone that's contacted frequently, as opposed to maybe not as much.
Exactly. That's good. And all of that comes from that initial consultation. Because a lot of people want to buy a house and they'll come to you, but that doesn't mean they're ready, willing. Well, they're willing, but they're not ready or able. So when we have someone who is ready, willing, able, who is able, ready, and willing and motivated to do business soon, these are our A buyers and sellers. Our number one goal is to secure the appointment and close with a signed buyer's agreement or a listed agreement. Those people are ready to go. Those people are going to buy or close in the next 30, 45 days. Or they're ready to do business, start doing business 0 to 14 days, which means they're going to close soon. Then you have our B buyers and sellers are either unable, not ready, or not willing right now. They may be motivated and something needs to happen first. Our goal with B buyers and sellers is to follow up with frequency and intensity using touch plans. Attractive offers that elicit responses. Those are called MOFers. So our B buyers and sellers are able, ready, and willing to do business in about 15 to 60 days. So they may have a credit card or so to pay off. And they've already paid it off, but they're waiting for it to show up on their credit report. There's something like that. That takes a few months or whatever to show up. Our C buyers and sellers have no immediate need to transact. These are the perfect candidates for long-term nurtures and the 36 touch plans you developed in session 12. So they're 3 months out. They're 2 months out. 2+ months. So they may be the ones that, hey, how's the market? What are y'all doing? Is it a buyer or a seller market? They're going to ask you a lot of questions, but they're never going to say, hey, I'm ready to go buy something. Or maybe not now. And a lot of people tell you, hey, I can't buy the next year. Or I want to buy at the end of the year. I want to buy at the beginning of the year. Or in the summertime, fall time. It's up to them. Any ahas from that?
Yes, just the way it was categorized.
Yeah, and that just better helps you. That just better
Yeah.
helps you to focus who to focus on. Not saying that, hey, some people you might need to call weekly, some people you need to call monthly, some people might not need to call till quarterly. It just helps you know how often to keep in contact with those people. Where they are. So are these people that need to talk to lenders right now? Or are these people that need to get in contact with some credit repair people? Or if you get them in contact with a lender, say, hey, they're not sure if their credit is ready yet, but can you help them? They're not, and let them be upfront with the lender. Hey, they don't think they're ready right now, but if we can get a few things off their credit, or if they can see what they need to do with their credit, they'll be ready. Or they'll be able. They're ready, but they're just trying to get the money up, or they're trying to get the credit together. So So those are those are some things to how you classify them. With the able, ready, willing framework in hand, we are almost ready to qualify potential buyers and sellers. What we need now are the questions and conversation starters that will help us to determine who is able, ready, and willing. In this section, we're going to be going over the buyer lead sheets and the pre-listing qualification sheets. And I use these until this day. In the last section, we started with the win-win of qualification. Our potential client win because we provide them with the right value at the right time, and we win because we get to focus our attention on helping clients who are ready to buy or sell. Based on what we covered in previous sessions, about segmenting your database, what might be some additional advantages of qualifying leads and contacts? Do you have any? And I think I've pretty much gone over it. It is pretty much like I just said, it helps you determine who to call and when. That's how you can segment it. Because you can always put reminders and notes on all of your contacts. Have y'all been in doing that with your contacts?
I've added some notes.
Okay. And so because once you start talking to a lot of people, you're not gonna remember every single conversation.
Yeah.
And just notate little. I notate stuff like, oh, their dog name is Sam, because a lot of animal people love their animals. So when I call back, I'm like, hey, how's Sam? Their dog and their children. Notate those things. Notate those things. Like you going back to school now, right? I would call some of those people that you know have kids going back to school. Hey, how's it going? Have y'all? I know it's after the holiday. The 4th is gone. Have y'all started school shopping yet? And if you're financially able, hey, is there anything I contribute to you? Is there anything on your child's school list that I can help contribute? That's if you're able to do that. So I mean, it's just minor things. Or you can say, hey, I have a whole bunch of folders and notebooks around, and trying to find some kids I can give them to. Do you need them? Paper, whatever, pencils. Every school needs those number 2 pencils. Just go to Walmart and buy them up. Just give them out to people. Give them to teachers. Not even just people with kids. Give them teachers. They love that stuff. So, then okay. So when we're gonna get to going through the qualifying these people, having these conversations, starting to. The one thing I'm going to say, and it says abide by the fair housing regulations. Treat every client the same. Every client the same. For instance, last week I closed on a house. It was with Tony, our team leader, right? I've known Tony. I was at Keller's before Tony was there.
Mhm.
I treated him the same as I treated every other client. We went through. Hold on, my daughter talked to me. Hi, baby. Yes, baby. I'm sorry, y'all. Summer's out. Summer's in still, so school's
Yeah.
out. But anyway, so I did the documents for him. I did the qualifying sheets for him. I talked to him, asked him questions. Because yeah, we know each other at work, and we talk and we laugh and we joke and all of that stuff. But did I know deep down what he wanted and needed in a home? Not before we sat down and talked. And the funny thing about that is how I got him. When he first got to Keller Williams, he was our MC, our marketing center administrator. And I always told him, hey, when you're ready to buy a house, I'm ready. When you're ready to buy a house. And when he got in team leader, he called me. He was like, ShaCarol, I'm ready to buy a house. He's like, send me over my contract. Send me over my agreement. And that's because I stayed on him. And I jokingly started it.
Yeah.
But you see how that turned out?
Worked out.
He works with 90 other agents.
Mm-hmm.
He works closely. He cuts checks for 90 other agents. But he chose me because why? I stayed on him. I stayed on him. Every time I would try something new, I sent it to him. And so it worked. So when he got ready, he was like, "Hey, ShaCarol, I'm ready." So next thing we're gonna do. So this is the buyer lead sheet. And have y'all seen this before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't need to do any role play with you guys and about how to ask the question, or do you want me to do it? Because I don't mind.
Yeah, you could do it. Just
Okay. All right, since you said that, now you have to be my buyer, Lorraine. So I have a sheet here that tells me what to say. I'm gonna go by that first, and then if I might improvise. So I'll go by saying, "Hi, ShaCarol. Hi, Lorraine. I'm excited to help you find your new home. I like to start with some questions to make sure I can give you a 5-star customer experience. Let's start with some basics. What's the best email and phone number to reach you?" Then you'll give me that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I say thank you for those. What are the best times to be able to reach you? You'll tell me that. Has another agent taken you out or shown you any properties?
No, ma'am.
Because if you say yes, guess what? Our conversation is over.
Mhm.
Or I might, if you say yes, if a client says yes, or not a client, a customer at this point, if they say yes, just ask them, have you signed any agreements with them? If they say yes, you say, I appreciate you talking to me, but I cannot ethically talk to you any longer about real estate. If they say, no, we've looked, but I haven't signed anything, I always suggest to them, hey, if you have, I'll go ahead and ask them, are you willing to sign sign an agreement with me? Because some people don't like I don't know, they don't like to sign these agreements. But I always try to get mine signed up front. So if you say no, I'm like, I'm excited to be the agent who takes you to see some properties. Is there anyone else purchasing the home with you? This means, is there anyone else on the loan, going to be on the loan with you?
It's just me.
All right, great. I want to help you find the home that fits your needs and the needs of fits your needs. You can find the right fit. We can find the right fit for you. How long have you been looking for a home?
For about a year.
Okay. That is okay. So you said about a year. I'm curious, why are you moving?
I'm moving because I don't want to rent anymore. I want to own my own house.
That is a great reason to be in the market. I have a few more questions that will help me understand your needs. You see the other page says, are you renting? Well, you just told me you're renting, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'll ask you, since you're renting, do you know when your lease is up?
My lease is up in August.
Okay, thank you. Let me get to the next question. Then it says, so we talk about that. So do you are you planning to pay cash for your new home, or will you be getting a mortgage?
I'll be getting a mortgage.
Have you already been pre-approved by a lender?
No, I haven't.
Would you like any lender recommendations?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
At this point, so when you're giving lender recommendations, give multiple lending recommendations. When we give any recommendations, we don't give one. And tell you why. Do you know why?
So they can't say, hey, you said that I should work with this person.
Exactly.
Especially if they don't get finance.
Exactly. That way, I just give them to them. I tell them these are all great lenders. I work with them all. And I even tell them, call them all, see who you vibe best. See who gives you what you need. Do what's best for you. And then I would say, what will your down payment be? And I'm gonna be honest, I don't ask that because that is the lender's job to ask that. We can ask, but I go and let any finance questions I let the lender take care of first. So that's what I do. So then I say, after we got through all this, thank you for helping me get to know you, get to know how we can plan to buy. When you're serious when we are looking for listings, what price are you comfortable with? I don't even ask that until I know how much they're approved for. Because just because they're approved for $350, they might not want to spend but $250. Okay. Then it says, on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning you must buy as quickly as possible, and a 1 meaning you're not sure when you'll be able to buy. What would you rate yourself? And then they'll rate themselves, and that's how you'll know where they land at, A, B, or C. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Then you never leave this without setting up the next appointment. So then you say, I'm excited to help you buy a home. In order to help you find the perfect home, all we need to do is set up an appointment so I can help you get your home in time. What is better for you? Always don't just say what is better for you. Say, hey, look, first of all, look at your schedule. Say, hey, is Tuesday at 3 or Wednesday at 2 better? Give them options that complement your schedule because you want to make it seem like you're busy. People like working with busy people. I don't know why, but they do. I personally like working with people that I get all their attention. That's just me. Maybe that's the only child of me coming out. But people like working with busy people because they assume that they know what they're doing, right? They've been in it a while. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No, I think
It is basically just going through the sheet.
yeah.
And those, I always do those over the phone. Or unless someone pops up or pops in to the office when I was there. We'll go over it. Okay. So pretty much we've gone over. Yeah. Well, this is the pre-listing questionnaire. Did I get to that? That's the pre-listing questionnaire. So, and it's the same thing. You're going over, the questions. You ask them their name. They'll get their contact information. How did you hear about me? Because you also want to, if they heard about you from someone else, that's a referral, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also want to keep track of how people are or how they found you. And then you can thank the other person that sent them to you. Ask them, why are they moving? What's motivating you to move there? How soon do you have to be there? If we sell your home in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem? If yes, what could it be? And they're gonna probably say, I don't have anywhere to go. What happened if your home did not sell? How much do you want to list your home for? That is important because everyone thinks their home is worth $1 million. In reality, we'll look at the market and we're not going to tell them right here what we think is worth, right? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to get that appointment and we're going to give them a listing presentation and we're going to do all those things in the listing presentation. We're going to tell them what we think a range that it should be put on the market for, but we're not going to tell them here. We're just going to ask them to see so that when we get off this conversation, after you finish this up with them, you go do your research. Then you say, here I go getting ahead of myself. I'll be sending you a packet of information. Will you take a few minutes to review it before we meet? Because anytime you do a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, you send it to them prior to your meeting so that they can go ahead and so that you're not going over page by page by page when you get to the meeting. Just going over key points. And this just makes you look professional. Because I won listings because I've sent over listing presentations. Because I have not known any other brokerage to send a listing presentation to a client. I've warned them because I've sent them information.
Mm.
And you just ask them, do they have any questions before we meet? See, right here, we're getting them geared up for the next meeting. We're telling them, hey, before we meet, will all decision makers be when we meet? And then you ask them, hey, just so you know, our meeting will take place between blank and blank. I always say between 30 and 45 minutes. Okay? So you tell them, hey, I'm only gonna be there 30, 45 minutes. We're not gonna go over everything. We're gonna go over the basics. And my goal at that meeting is to do what?
Try to get them to list with you.
Exactly. Get that listing agreement signed. Get all my documents signed, honestly, at that point. Then I'm looking forward to meeting you on such date at such time. Any questions on that?
No.
No.
So then y'all can role play with each other later. Any ahas about today? I think we finished it, y'all. Anything you want to talk about today? I'm proud of myself. I did it right in an hour.
You did. Oh, good. Just basically to categorize leads,
Yeah.
know how much time to spend on each, and I guess to create smart plans around them.
Yes. Listen, smart plans, they just make your life easier. Because I don't know if Katie talked to y'all, has she told y'all to get y'all's 100 contacts in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's no way that you can contact 100 people personally every quarter, right? I mean, you could if you had nothing else to do. But once your business kicks off, you're not going to have that type of time. So smart plans, they're automated. They're going to get texts from you thinking they're you taking the time out to do it. They're going to get emails from you. They're going to get these posts. They're going to get things from you, and they're going to think that you sat down at your computer or your phone and said, "This is impersonal." And you did. You prepared it. But it's just a way to keep that you're keeping top of mind with these people. You're contacting them somehow. So do you think Amazon and all these other stores and everything else we've signed up for Mark Bailey, when he just sold Amazon, but he wasn't sitting there emailing me. He's not telling me Prime Day was yesterday or today. It's
Yeah.
not him. But they have me because I am a Prime member. They have me on some smart plan of some sort. I always know when they've got something on sale. So also, have y'all been sharing your apps?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay. Have you noticed, has anyone signed up on your app?
No, I haven't.
Do you know how to check that?
No.
If you go in command and look at your contacts, it'll tell you if they signed up, it'll tell you that, they clicked your link or something.
Okay.
Tell you under their tab, or I mean under their what's the thing? Tag. It'll tell you.
Okay.
So yeah. And then if they have, and they're your contact, you can be nosy and see what they're looking at. And then that's another conversation. That's another conversation starter. But, hey, I see you've been looking at 123 Main Street. What is it about the area that you like? Are y'all looking to move there soon? That's a conversation starter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know these are some touch plans. I think y'all go over these like at the end of every one, right? Or have y'all not? Have y'all gone over the touch plans?
I've seen those touch plans.
Okay. So yeah, so it's 19 to connect, 36 to convert. So so do your lead follow up, convert, stay on top of mind, qualify your buyers. That's it. So if there's nothing else, guys, I think we're done.
Thank you, ShaCarol.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
And like I said, I don't coach anymore, so I don't go as in depth as Katie them do now anymore. But if there's like any quick questions, y'all can look me up on contacts and find me, and I'll be willing to help you guys if any quick questions you have.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ShaCarol.
Bye
And
bye.
I like your nails.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, girl. All righty.
Alrighty. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.